In the middle of so many coaching conversations, I hear this line, I delegate all the time. No, you don't. You distribute tasks. You hand someone a to-do list and then check them every hour to make sure they're doing it your way. I need to share with you, that's not delegation, it's micromanagement with better packaging. Real delegation isn't giving someone something to do, it's giving someone the authority to decide how it gets done. And that distinction between task and authority, it's the reason you're exhausted. Your team isn't growing, and the leaders you identified on Tuesday, they're still waiting for permission to actually lead. Today, I'm going to show with you what real delegation looks like and why letting go of control is the most productive thing that you'll do this year. 7 minutes, one truth, one execution move. If you're a leader who's tired of becoming the bottleneck in your own organization, you're tired of delegating the work and then redoing it yourself because it wasn't done the way that you would have done it, and you're tired of developing people who never seem to actually develop because you won't let them make a decision without you, you're in the right place. I'm Chris Hunsicker, and this is the Dealership War Room. This isn't motivation. This isn't theory. This is a daily leadership briefing for people who actually have to produce results in the arena, at home, and at work. You're in the war room now, so let's go. Let me show you what most delegation actually looks like. Manager says, hey, I need you to handle a parts inventory audit this week. Employee says, got it, boss. 2 hours later, manager walks by. Hey, how's it going? Hey, what approach are you using? Hey, did you start with the fast moving items first, or did you start with special orders? 4 hours later, hey, let me see what you've got so far. Actually, let me just show you how I usually do this. By the end of the day, the manager has essentially done the audit, while the employee just watched. And both people leave that interaction having learned the same lesson. Don't bother developing your own approach because he's going to do it his way regardless. That's not delegation. That's a leash. And a leash doesn't develop people. It trains them to stand still and wait for a tug, just like a dog. Here's why managers can't let go. And I want to be honest. In my company, I've done every single one of these. Reason one, they won't do it as well as I would. Probably true at first, because they never had the chance to practice. Every expert was once a beginner who was given room to be bad at it. You were bad at this when you first started, and someone let you struggle. Someone let you fail. Someone let you learn through the mess. And if you demand mastery before you grant autonomy, nobody will ever develop, because mastery only comes through autonomy, not before it. Reason two, if they make a mistake, it'll reflect on me. Yes, it does. And that's the cost of developing leaders. It's the same cost someone paid for you. You failed negotiation. Your first mishandled customer complaint. Your first terrible team meeting. Someone above you absorbed the consequence of your learning. The tax on developing leader is paid in imperfect outcomes. And the return on that investment is a team that eventually outperforms anything that you could do alone and is worth it. Reason three, it's faster to do it myself. We covered this on Monday, but let me put a number on it because I really want this to land. If it takes you 30 minutes to do something and it takes 90 minutes to teach someone else to do it, you've lost an hour today. But if that person does it every week for the next year, you just gain 26 hours. 26 hours from one delegation multiplied by the 10 things you're currently holding. You just found 260 hours a year. That's 6.5 40-hour weeks. The math on delegation always favors the long term, always. And the only reason to do it yourself is if you've decided the short-term numbers are all that matter. So what does real delegation look like? There are, I would say, 5 levels, and I want to go through each of those with you. And most managers are stuck on levels 1 and 2. Level 1, do exactly what I tell you. This is the to-do list approach. No autonomy, no decision-making, just execution of your instruction. Appropriate for brand new employees learning basic processes. Not appropriate for anyone you're developing to think critically. Level 2, look into this and give me options and I'll decide. This is where most managers live. They want input, but they keep the decision. It feels like delegation, but the employee learns to research and not to decide. And they're still waiting for you. Tell me what to do, boss. Where do I go? Level 3, here's where we take a step. Look into this, then tell me what you recommend and why. And unless I disagree, just go with it. Now we're delegating. The employee is making the recommendation and executing it. You have veto if something's off, but the default is their judgment, not yours. Can you feel that distinction? Level 4, handle this. Let me know what you decided. Full authority. The employee, they make the call, they execute, they report back, not for approval, but for learning. Here's what I did, and here's why. And in this situation, your job is to coach the thinking, not override the decision, even if you would have done it differently, especially if you would have done it differently. Because the goal isn't cloning yourself, it's developing someone who thinks for themselves, but with clarity and execution. Level 5, this is yours. You don't need to check in unless you need support or help. I'm always going to be here. Full ownership, full trust. You've developed this person to the point where their judgment is reliable and your involvement would actually slow things down. This is the destination, not for everyone and not for everything, but for people you've identified in yesterday's developmental conversation. This is what you're building towards. So here's today's execution move. And I call this the delegation audit. All we're going to do is take the list that you created on Monday of those people that had the signals, the things that would break if you left for a week. And next to each one, write the level you're currently delegating at. Be honest. Most of it will be level 1 or level 2. Now, pick one item, just one, and move it up one level. If you've been doing it yourself, delegate it at level 2. If you've been at level 2, move it to level 3. And if you've been at level 3, give it to someone at level 4. One item, one level this week. And here's the hardest part. When they do it differently than you would have, which they might, let it stand. Unless it's genuinely wrong, let it stand. Because that moment, the moment that you let their approach survive, even though it's not your approach, and even though your approach may have been a little bit better, this is the moment they become a leader. Not a clone, a leader with their own style, their own judgment, their own way of getting to the outcome. That might just be as good as yours. And some days, it'll be even better. And if you know a manager who's just drowning in work that they should have let go years ago, and their name has come to mind and you remember them, send them this episode. Because the answer to their overwhelm isn't working harder, it's releasing smarter. Elite leaders do not hold everything. They release it strategically, progressively, one level at a time, until the people around them are making the decisions they used to make with the same quality, better speed. That's not losing control, that's multiplying it. And that's the kind of leader that you're becoming. Tomorrow, we close this arc with the question that determines how you're remembered long after you're gone. Not what you've built, who you've built. So today, go create some leadership fire, and I'll see you tomorrow in the Dealership War Room.